Alrighty guys, quick video here. As you'll see in the title, this is my final video and commentary on Khaled. I've had too many people take little bits and pieces of quotations from all over places. We've obviously talked about Khaled in extent on the fix, and Khaled, there's a language barrier, all that sort of stuff. Anyway, lots of misinterpretations have been happening. So I want to put this video out to once and for all to exactly my thoughts on Khaled, not arm wrestling noobs' interpretations of bits and pieces of my thoughts. All right. Clarify a few of the controversial comments, the 8 stronger people comment, all that sort of stuff. All right, so here we go. Khaled, to me, is one of the genetic freaks of the world. He's not alone in that. There are many of them. I know at least 8 people in Brisbane that I would consider genetic freaks on par with Khaled. They aren't necessarily grip strength athletes. They might be MMA fighters. They might be strongman. They might be bench pressers. But there are at least 8 people in Brisbane that I know personally that aren't, like I said, they're not all necessarily interested in arm wrestling, but they are genetic freaks in terms of just sheer human strength and size. I've always quoted Marcus Atirai as the best example of that. He is someone 155 kilos lean, former super heavyweight mixed martial arts champion here in Australia. And he is just one of those guys who genetically has a frame that is phenomenal. Wrists twice the size of an average Australian like myself. His head twice the size as my head. Just clear genetic potential. And the reason I say there are 8 of them in Brisbane is I know a lot of people in the strength world in Brisbane. And here in Brisbane, Australia, we have a lot of people of Polynesian descent. We've got people from New Zealand, people from Tonga, from Samoa, all over that region of the world. And they are just big people. Go and have a look at Matai Warangi Hitamoris, 165 kilos. Marcus Atirai, 155 kilos. Fatali, 130 kilos. There are a lot of guys at that 130 kilos plus, averaging 6'4". And the reason I talk about them is not to put Khaled down. It's not to say Khaled isn't. It's to say that Khaled is a genetic freak. And yes, he does have the potential to be a world champion. The biggest ingredient that Khaled is missing so far is, like every other one of these genetic freaks, is the love for the sport enough that you stick around and get surrounded by good coaches. If someone like Khaled, and let's talk specifically about Khaled now, if Khaled is to find himself falling deeply in love with the sport to the point in which he wants to be the best in the world. I don't know whether he does at the moment. He's trialing it out. I hope that he does end up going down this path, because the more genetic freaks that we have fall in love with the sport, the bigger the sport grows. So if Khaled can fall in love with the sport and be surrounded by proper coaching, elite level coaching in terms of technique and conditioning, and how to take the genetic potential he has and turn it into a real professional arm wrestler, then I do believe he has the potential to be on par with the best super heavyweights in the world. What I want to clarify and what I want to really crush is anyone who is misquoting me, saying that I don't think Khaled, that I don't respect Khaled, anyone telling me that I am putting him down, it's anything but. I'm building that man up repeatedly. If you have a look at the way I describe Khaled on the fix, I see so much potential in him. Where there seems to be a sticking point is the fact that I'm not willing to say Khaled is the one. He's not the one. And people are saying, when I say he's not the one, and I quote these other people I know that I believe are equally as genetically gifted as Khaled, people see that and are trying to tell me that I'm trying to pull Khaled down. No, I'm not. There is just a lot of excitement about Khaled that I, as a professional arm wrestler, have a perspective on, and I can see that Khaled is still missing many of the key ingredients. I'll be realistic. Khaled cannot beat an elite level super heavyweight, not even close. I watched footage of him pulling the British national champion just today, and the British national champion was very comfortable with him. And I don't know if you've seen that footage. I'm not going to put it up, but I've seen it. I'm sure it'll surface soon. So the fact that I'm not willing to say that Khaled is right there is why a lot of people seem to be taking offense to it, and people saying that I'm disrespecting Khaled. Look, I'm not disrespecting Khaled. I've spoken directly to Khaled, and we understand each other. Despite the language barrier, we understand each other, and by no means am I putting this man down. Khaled is one of many people in that top 0.1% of natural genetic humans that have the ability to go on and become one of the best in the world. Marcus Attirai is another one. Vitali is another one. There are people in here, like I said, 8 people that I know personally, that are giant humans, towering over me, that any one of them properly falls in love with the sport, they have the potential to go on and be a world champion. Khaled is blessed with the opportunity to have that at his fingertips right now. He's blessed through his circumstances that he found Larry and ended up on his channel, found Devon, and the world is now focused very much on Khaled. All power to him. None of us want to take anything away from Khaled. I think he's fantastic for the sport. Anyone that brings attention to the sport is fantastic. And Khaled is part of bringing the attention to the sport right now. But let it be known once and for all that, like I said, this is the final thing I'm saying about Khaled. Because I'm getting tired of seeing people talk crap about me and what I'm apparently saying about Khaled. Do I think Khaled is amazing? Yes. Can he be a world champion? Yes. Is he one of a kind? No. He's incredibly rare, but he's not the only one. And yes, I do know a bunch of people just as genetically gifted with just as much potential as Khaled. He has feats in grip strength that are unofficial world records. That is amazing. I too know among these 8 guys, they are all gifted in their own disciplines as well. Like I said, Marcus Attirai is a fighter. He has more explosive power than Khaled, I'm sure. He's used to knocking people out. So imagine a hit from someone 155 kilos lean with a hand as big as he's got. They all have their own potentials in different ways. Khaled has gripping strength. I wish him well, and I hold nothing against the man. I actually want to empower the man. So for anyone who thinks anything else other than that, cut it, because it's all false. I'll probably end up in Dubai at some point. When flights get cheap again, maybe February, March next year, something like that. I'll probably end up over there at some point. Hopefully when Michael Todd's there as well. I'd love to pull with Michael. And when I do get there, I'm sure Khaled and I will grip up. And it will be a good experience. I still believe that I could beat him in a hook, simply for the reason that he is technically very, very green and doesn't move well. If you see the video of Kyle from the UK pulling him, you'll see that Kyle highlights Khaled's lack of understanding of the sport, and he's pulling in a way that is quite dangerous. He will probably tear a bicep or something if he's not careful the way he's pulling at the moment. But Khaled has the potential, and there's no disrespect from me to him at all. So, like I said, I've said it a bunch of times now. I'm not going to talk about this again because I'm kind of sick and tired of seeing people take bits and pieces of what I've said on the fix and try to misconstrue it and twist it into some sort of negative way. It's just flat out not untrue. And I'm glad Khaled has spoken to me personally and he's realised that there is nothing negative from me towards him at all. Anyway guys, rambling now, but needed to be said. Alright, see ya.